anahankara. Okay? Absence of self-conceit. Self-conceit. I looked up the Hindi word for it. They are saying ant. Is that correct? Ant. Ant hona. All forms of self-conceit. Ant. Another word they gave was ghamand. Now, where is this born from? What is the source? The source is identification with the body-mind ahankara. Source is actually ignorance. But because of ignorance, there is identification with the body-mind. Okay? And yeah, without taking the sense of ant, I can also, before the ant comes, ahankara means the sense of individuality, which comes from identification with this upadhi. The person doesn't take it as upadhi, he takes it as me, with this upadhi of body mind. So when I'm identified with the body, I will say I'm a man, I'm a woman. Identified with the mind, I will say I'm happy, I'm sad. Identified with the intellect, I'm successful, I'm a failure, right? I'm great, I'm helpless. Now, that is simple ahankara without the connotation of ant in it. What happens when we take the upadhi to be I? Naturally, I feel limited because upadhi is limited. But what is the real meaning of I? The real meaning of I is Atma. And what is Atma? Satchidananda. What is Satchidananda? Nirguna. That which doesn't have any speciality in it, Nirguna iti. And it is Nirakara. It is Sarvavyapi. It is free of all vrittis. It is even free of I am Sukhi, I am Dukhi, free of everything. And what happens through identification? What Atma is all pervading, the all pervading Atma is made limited as though. So, what is one self alone appears to become divided through countless imaginations of what the self is. And differences are created in what is one alone. So, Shastra gives us an example. Says that just as a blazing fire seems to get divided into many sparks, similarly, that one self also appears to be divided into innumerable living beings. But if you really analyze the spark, it is nothing but fire. Heat and light, which are properties of fire, they are also properties of spark. That spark is nothing but fire only. In the same way, the swarupa of the jiva, the real nature of the jiva, the swarupa of the jiva, the individual, is the same as the swarupa of Ishvara. Ishvara is consciousness and the jiva is also consciousness. And consciousness can never be divided into pieces because there is no other thing to divide it. Iti. And yet, this sarvavyapi consciousness, this universal consciousness, becoming identified with a single upadhi, seems to become a jiva and seems to get divided into many. Then what happens? One jiva, because of identification with one upadhi, considers himself different from all other jivas. And this identification now creates a sense of limitation, of being apurna, and this jivatvam or sense of being an individual. But what is it? The sense of being an individual? It's only a concept, a thought, a imagination. It's not the reality. But until there is self-knowledge, it appears to be very true, for the person. So till there is self-knowledge, we keep on feeling apurna, limited. And we continuously struggle to remove that sense of apurnata. And that wanting to remove that apurnata, all of it, we don't know how to do it. And it is confined to the upadhi. So we try to create some speciality in the upadhi, some uniqueness in the upadhi, At physical level, we'll try to improve our beauty and our strength. No? And at level of emotion, we'll try to excel in creative arts, music and dance and whatnot. Okay. At the level of intellect, we want to improve our scholarship. At level of ego, we want respect, we want power, we want prestige. So that we can feel that I am something. I am right. I am right. I am something. All at Upadhi level. All of this is because we are not able to accept ourselves. We are constantly rejecting ourselves because of our shortcomings at Upadhi level. And then there is constant struggle where? Within us. And therefore there is conflict. And to avoid this, we don't like feeling this apurnata and this. We attempt constantly to become somebody greater. I have to become something more. Right? So this is the human struggle. But tell me, the human struggle is we don't accept ourselves. We don't accept this poor Upadhi. But tell me now, I am acceptable. I am okay. What is the basis or criteria to decide this? If I am going to feel that I am ahead in comparison to other people, then it is true, the feeling of inferiority as well as the inner conflict, it goes away. But it goes away momentarily. But it does go away. And that's why we try so hard to establish that we are ahead of others. We boast about our qualities. We boast about our achievements. We spend so much time dwelling upon our achievements and our, very special qualities in comparison to others. And over time, we get convinced, I'm superior to others. I'm the best. So this kind of a conviction is called as a superiority complex, ahankara. Now it is at. Yeah. Okay. On the other hand, there is the other person who constantly thinks about his limitations and his weaknesses. This person thinks he is inferior to everybody. This is inferiority complex. So from superiority complex, there is pride, there is at. And from inferiority complex, there is this deen heen bhav, sense of inferiority. And both these complexes are born because of giving too much reality to the body mind. And that we do automatically because there is ignorance that there is any other dimension of ourself. The fact is that everyone has got a body mind. And the fact is, which is a upadhi. And every upadhi is different from the other upadhi. And each upadhi needs to be accepted as it is. We don't have to feel superior because of the upadhi. We don't have to feel inferior because of the upadhi. So these feelings of superiority and inferiority, why do they arise? Only because of ego identification, yeah, with the upadhi. And so to get rid of these knots, they're called as knots of the heart, knots of the ego. Life needs to be understood as it is. So one of the truths of life is that no one person can claim credit for any success or achievement. If you truly understand Ishvara to be the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam, you may have forgotten what that means. That Ishvara is the one who is the intelligent cause of the universe and is also the material cause of the universe. Then you can assign success of every endeavor to Ishvara. Whatever is happening through Ishvara alone. Ishvara has manifested this universe and Ishvara is running it. It is all Ishvara Shakti. So let's analyze just one action, okay? The act of speaking I'm analyzing, I'm speaking in this class. So first a sankalpa has to arise in my mind. Let me take class. After that, a decision will arise in the intellect. True, class should be taken. That's my duty. Okay. That's my dharma, actually. That's my dharma. Okay. So I come for the class and start speaking, leaving aside everything else. Now thoughts are coming into the intellect, one after the other. And accordingly, the organ of speech is moving. This is the mouth, the organ of speech. It is going to move and it's going to speak. And then whatever is being spoken is quickly evaluated by the intellect. And if any mistake is made, then it is rectified. Now let's think what happened. Where did the thoughts right from the Sankalpa onwards come from? It comes from Ishvara. Because Ishvara is in the form of order. Ishvara is pervading even this mind in the form of psychological order, in the form of biological order, in the form of the order of knowledge. Every order which is there possible, which makes this possible, all that is Ishvara iti. Therefore, I do not have the freedom to decide which thought is going to come next in the next moment. The Sankalpa arose in keeping with Ishvara's order, the Niyati. The power of judgment, which is required to correct my thinking, that is also part of Ishvara's order. The inspiration for the flow of thoughts to keep coming in the intellect, that is also part of Ishvara's order. And the life force and the skill of language, which is needed for this organ of speech to speak, that also is flowing from Ishvara, from the order, from the Niyati. Who gave the knowledge that is in this intellect? Who has created the mind that has put together all the enormous bits of knowledge to produce this one talk? Ishvara is the giver of all knowledge. When I was born, I was totally ignorant. I got all the knowledge from my mother, father, gurus, books, etc. Where did they get the knowledge from? They got it from their sources. Where did those sources get the knowledge from? Who is the ultimate source? Ishvara, the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam of the universe, is the ultimate source. So the ultimate source of knowledge is Ishvara. Ishvara is also the one who provides the means to gain all this knowledge. Ishvara alone is behind this knowledge that is stored in the memory. Anytime brain injury can occur and all the knowledge can go away from the memory, from this upadhi of memory. But yet knowledge itself is with Ishvara and it is never gone, and therefore another upadhi can store it. Another upadhi can gain it. So, and the knowledge which is stored in the memory is of not much use if I can't use it when it is required. So it is only with Ishvara's grace that knowledge is available at the right time. When it is required, it is coming into use. That is whose grace? It's Ishvara's grace. So eventually it is Ishvara only who is expressing all the knowledge that is stored in the memory. Again, any endeavor that we do, it can be successful only if obstacles don't arise. So Ishvara alone is the one who is manifesting all the circumstances that are free of all obstacles. Because the truth is the circumstances are not in our control. Ishvara is the karma phala data. He is in the form of every circumstance that is here. So if there is an obstacle-free circumstance that is here, that is nothing but Ishvara alone. It's not up to us to decide that this is going to happen, this will not happen, this will happen. No. All these arrangements are in Ishvara's order alone. So the sankalpa for the class is made. The thoughts are gathered together on how it is to be presented. Zoom link is sent out. You are all informed. Whoever comes for the class, it is all Ishvara. Now, supposing I don't see Ishvara's role in all this, then what is my role? Let's analyze. In the action of speaking that we took up, did I create the mind? Did I create the intellect? Did I create the eyes? Did I create the hands? Because sometimes using the hands also, eyes are being used to look at you. Did I create the organ of speech? Did I create the knowledge? Did I create this computer, which is a medium for this satsang to take place? Did I create the mic? Did I create you all? No. All this has been given to me. And I've also been given the opportunity to speak. So the determination, the sankalpa, the memory, the inspiration that was required for this talk, none of that was my making. This is happening according to some plan. Maybe you can say plan in the mind and intellect, but the mind and intellect has been given to me. I didn't create it. So in any endeavor, how much is the contribution of any person in order to do anything successfully? At the most, I can say I'm instrumental in doing this work. So if I have faith in Ishvara, then I can say that Ishvara has made me an instrument for doing this work. He is doing the work through this upadhi. Then what is there for me to be proud of in this? Nothing. If anyone is to get credit, only the one who has made all this and the one who has made all the arrangements, that one should get the credit. So, if we analyze any endeavor, small or large, we find that the credit cannot be given to any one person or any group of people, because to do even the smallest task, innumerable factors are required. Innumerable forces have to come into play. Forces which are not created by any individual or groups of individuals. And so many forces are at work, which is not in any one person's control or any one group's control. So the most important thing here is the universe is doing all the work, and the meaning of the universe is Ishvara. If we are able to think like this, then what happens? We become humble. And where there is humility, there is no place for arrogance or pride. Now, supposing we think a little further, then there is a feeling of gratitude arising that Ishvara has been so kind that he has made me an instrument for his work. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, very important, okay? Let's look at the Bhagavad Gita. Yes. Shri Bhagavan, Krishna says to Arjuna, Kalosmi lokakshayakrit pravriddha lokan samahartumiha pravrittah rittepi tvam na bhavishyanti sarve ye vastita pratyanikeshu yodhaha. So Krishna points out, hey Arjuna, I am the mighty time. I am the source of destruction that comes forth to annihilate all these worlds. Even without your participation, Arjuna, the warriors who are here, they are already dead. Tasmat tvamuttishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrun bhungshva rajyam samriddham mayye vaite nihita purvameva nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. So, Krishna is saying here, hey Arjuna, these warriors are already dead, you know. Therefore, Arjuna, you be only an instrument of my work. That is all. Be an instrument of my work. And this is true for every noble work. The work done by each person is a part of the overall plan, and the individual is only instrumental in that. How much knowledge does one individual have? What is the individual's power? Who can even say what will be the result? Ishvara Shaktiman, Sarva Shaktiman, is doing all the work of this universe through various upadhis, maintaining the harmony, and all that we have to do is not disturb the collective harmony. The individual ego alone has the capacity to break this harmony, to disturb this harmony. This is what Shastra has this big, big vision to give us. And that's why anahankaraha, there is no place for pride. There is no place for ego. There's no place for it. Because if we take credit for what Ishvara is doing, it is ahankara, it is it. And in a way, it is cheating. Ishvara is doing and we are taking credit. Iti. So when analyzed and assimilated, all we can have is humility and immense gratitude towards Ishvara. So anahankara is not only the absence of self-conceit, it can include also the presence of humility and gratitude towards Ishvara. So anahankara is a natural outcome of understanding Ishvara. When we understand the cosmic order, the niyati, then the sense of individuality, that all that ain't, it melts. And in its place arises humility and gratitude. When discussing amanitvam, we looked at the meaning of manitvam or pride. In manitvam, we are making a difference little bit. The person thinks very highly of himself, and in keeping with that wants respect also. कि मुझे respect bhi do because I am really something special. In ahankara, the person not only thinks highly of himself or herself, the person also looks down upon others. Manitvam may not express itself outside, whereas ahankara will, the person will it. So the way out for both of them is more or less the same, is understanding Ishvara, gaining humility. So just as arrogance and the superiority complex, they are not ichaniya, they are not desirable. In the same way, inferiority complex is also not desirable. Both are arising because of giving reality to the body-mind upadhi, identification with it, identification with the sense of limitation in it. But the truth is, as long as knowledge is not there, so long identification will be there. But even if identification is there, still there is no reason to consider yourself less or more. The way is to an anahankara. What is the way? To understand Ishvara in the form of all-pervading order. Ishvara is the abhinna nimitta upadana karanam. He is the intelligence that pervades this universe. He is also in the form of all that is there in the universe. So whatever uniqueness Ishvara has given to the upadhi, what is one's purpose? It is to dedicate it to Ishvara's service. Okay? Whatever uniqueness you have in the upadhi, dedicate it to Ishvara's service. So in vision of Ishvara, all are equal. No one is high, no one is low. From ant to elephant to human being, all living beings and non-living beings, everything has its own place in that grand universal order. There's a huge niyati here. Every being and everything has its use. And everything and every being is all right in its place in the scheme of Ishvara's order. And it is up to us to make ourselves useful, not bigger than anyone. That's why it's unworthy to be proud of one's, whatever special talents one has. And it's equally unworthy to feel inferior. Both are expressions of ego. Okay. So without self-knowledge, these knots of the hearts don't go away completely. Yet, one can free oneself with proper understanding of Ishvara's order, understand Ishvara, who is Ishvara, assimilate the presence of Ishvara in one's life, iti. And then as the heart becomes free from these knots, you will become very simple and peaceful and content by and mature. Okay? So as one lets go the destructive habit of taking total credit for personal success or total blame for personal failure, then one becomes objective. One will see the world as it is. Able to accept that every circumstance is an opportunity. These are all big, big things, opportunity to learn something, to do something. Yeah, it's an opportunity. So with that, we will stop because we are at 6 o'clock. We have 15 minutes.